How's your business?
Good. Well, I just started it. It's okay right now.
Groovy.
I have a total of 6 employees and 2 contracts right now.
Nice. What is your business, if you don't mind my asking?
So I started a new business. I used to run a business before, but I started a new one. Right now, I'm focusing on general labor contracting. So it's pretty much like I have enough context that I've been building with the company that I've been working with at the Naval Academy, where I have a list of people that I can call for jobs and set them up. So it's kind of like event staging.
Right.
It's just general labor, pretty much putting people in places that they need to be, or when people need workers. So
That can be very lucrative, and if you can stay on top of it, I had my own business for a while. It was kind of similar because I used to describe it as I did a small venue production for mostly rock and roll, but any kind of musical bands, because we had I had connections because I'd worked as a roadie and I knew guys that were doing it, and there was a need for if you were doing a big show, you'd call in the union. But if you're doing a tiny show, you didn't need anyone. But like the mid-level places, it was hard to get coverage. So, I knew people. So I knew roadies that weren't working. I had friends who did lighting, sound reinforcement, whatever. And I just put the right people in contact. And we did pretty good. We'd be running 2-3 venues a night on the weekends. And, yeah. So that sounds really cool. I hope it goes well. It sounds like you're off to a good start.
It had a pretty good start. Like it was my buddy that I work with. He's because I work for the Department of Defense.
Cool.
So we were talking, and he was like, we should really start our own business, and because we always need, we always joke about it, because he knows I had a business and he ran a business a couple years ago too.
You got the skills, yeah.
So we always joke about it, and finally we came to the point where we were talking to the commissioner of the stadium, and he was like, well, look, if you guys know 6 to 8 people, we can build you a contract to start a business for you guys. And we're like, all right, well, let's do this.
Why not?
Very nice.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. We offered.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that was our first contract that we got, and then we found 6 people that day. We already and then the second contract we just got, we got that down at the Naval Academy. So that's for the officers club and stuff, and maintaining that and all that. So that's 6 months. They're 3 months each for each contract. So 6 months works for the 6 guys to start. So I think that's a pretty good, decent start for work.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's good. You've developed these contacts over the years, and it's really groovy. You took advantage of them. That's neat.
Yeah, it was fun. So hopefully we can get it rolling and started. Now everybody knows me down there because I was a floater for the DoD, anyways. I already was doing. I was already doing most of this stuff.
You can do it. They know you can do it. It's we know this guy. Yeah. Cool. That worked. Nice. So, all that hard work's paid off.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll work out and keep going good. And my girl was she's happy about it. She's happy that I'm starting a business
that's
again.
So important.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very.
She's I'm so glad that you're starting a business again. You look so much happier than when you were working just a week ago. I was
that's a blessing. That really is. That's very groovy.
Gosh, how fantastic.
It's funny too, because I've had people, people will look at you and say, how come he just got handed that? And you don't realize the years, the people you've known, the work you've done, you put yourself out. It doesn't these things don't just happen.
No. No. It took me a long time to even meet the commissioner. Like, you had to become his friend, like, and know him on a first name basis and everything. And like, yeah, I have a key to his office because I'm the only one he'll let in there to like empty all his stuff and take out his like and clean his stuff up and everything. It's like, if anyone else, no, you have the key, no one else goes in there. I'm like, yep, okay.
That is so groovy. Yeah, when you get to that level, yeah.
He's a good guy though, so hopefully that'll work out. And then we got the football stuff coming up too, and he said that he wants to get us our own contract for that as well because I already did some of that last year with the old contract that they had. Like they had their own company that did it, but I was part of like the worker crew because they always have to have a DoD person on site or whatever.
Right.
So,
Right.
But that's what I did last year. So he was like, "Oh, if you know how to do that, we can set you up with that contract too." And I was like, "Yep, I know how to do all of that."
He was a trusted liaison. He was the process.
Right. So I know how to do all that. So he said he's just gonna try for that when football season starts up. So that'll be good. That'll be a good steady contract because that'll be for a couple months. I mean, football is a good 6 months itself. So
Nice.
looking forward for that one. So it's working out for me. I'm liking it. I'm pretty happy with everything. I'm a lot happier than I was when I was, just working. I'm still part of the DoD, so that's nice. I still get to keep all my credentials and everything. So.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. He's like, just remember you have to get them renewed because it was through the old company was the one that did the process to get the badge and all the clearance and stuff. And the commissioner was like, they're not going to do it for you again, so make sure you go do it.
Buddy, it's a lot easier than
Yeah.
Wow. So you do that all day and then you come home and write all night?
Yeah. Sometimes I write while I'm there too. Actually, I get I don't like I do a lot of manual labor when I first get there, and then I kind of sit back for the last 2 or 3 hours and just kind of supervise and go around and double check everything and that kind of thing. So that's my downtime where I get to write, and then I come home and I do a lot of writing then. But the kid he's starting his own book.
Oh,
wow!
Nice.
Yeah.
That's your popular block.
Yeah. He's started to write his. No. He started on his school project right now is to write a book, but he wants to because it's only supposed to be a 5-page book is what their requirement is. But he's like, no, he's already done the first 5 pages. Okay, the first 5 pages are done. They're already done. And he's like, right? He's like, it's not due for another 3 weeks. It's at the end of the grading period that they need it, and I want to make it a whole book, and and I need help with this. And I'm like, whatever you need help with, you just let me know. And he was like, okay. So he's writing that, and I read a little bit about it. It's a pretty cool book. It's about a dog that finds a bone that turns out to be magical, and then the bone like leads this dog to different like little other people and friends, and that's how it goes to the communities with its bone and stuff. It's really funny.
Nice. Really cool. Very groovy.
Not a lot of action or advanced writing, but it's very, very interesting to read and like see him write. Try to build a story around this concept. It's really fun. So
great first novel. I look forward to reading it.
Yeah, I told him I was like, I'm gonna want to put this out on it, right? And he was like, okay, but I want to finish it first. And I was like, okay, yeah.
You're the
You-
perfect
you
line
do-
editor for your
you-
son. That's perfect. That's wonderful.
You do it for your school first, and then we'll put it out. It's like, okay. So it's really
Nice.
fun. We're working
That's so
on
groovy. That's so really groovy.
You must ask him if we're allowed to make it into a script.
that. I'm sure he'd be fine. He's only watched a couple of episodes of Dude, Where's My Wallet because of the language sometimes. But
Do a
he
PG
doesn't.
version, you know, for him
He does
sometime.
enjoy it. The
Yeah.
trippy aspects of like cartoons because he watches a lot of YouTube, and one of his creator he watches is he watches a lot of science and videos like about outer space, and the more trippy the science video is when it relates to science, the better he likes it. Like the more like has the warps and different effects in the video.
Right.
Yeah.
So does he animate MindsGaming? Does he do animation himself?
Well, he works with a code called Scratch. He's and he can animate with Scratch. He can draw like circles and squares and make music and all kinds of stuff. He made a really weird track this morning of it sounded like people drowning in a well. It was really interesting. Like, 'cause he has a voice like modifier that he uses first, and then he speaks it into the mic, and then like he can loop it and put the code in. The Scratch program is really cool. Like I have to look into it more because like it's these little like packets of code, right? So what they do is you type a word and you put it in this packet, and that packet uses these specific words to build the code. Then you drag this packet over to an area of the screen, and that's where the code is. And then it'll build that code in that area of the screen. So like if you write the word circle, spin, and then blue, then I'll make a circle that spins blue, and it'll put it wherever you drag that circle, that little block of code. Yeah. Oh, it's a really crazy like program code. It's called Scratch. And it's like it was made by MIT. It's only been out a couple years, but he's really enjoying it. And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna learn all this. I'm gonna be a better coder than you." I'm like, "I bet you will be, because I don't understand how this works." I don't get it. You know how long it took me to code this, then, and
They start off with a great advantage to us.
oh yeah, no, it's just
Kind of circling back to something that we were talking about a little bit before about like your kid's ability to like listen to some episodes and not others. I'm reminded of there's this place actually not far from where I live that makes radio plays, audio presentations, and they've been supporting themselves this way since the 1960s. And it's called ZBS, which was a commune originally. ZBS, I write to them once in a while. I stop down there, and it stood for Zero Bullshit, which I thought was really cool. But anyway, they started off as, there were references to adult subjects, but as they've gone on, they found that their audience is getting older. They have their kids, and they like their kids to listen to it. So they've just made the scripts more child-friendly, more family-friendly, if you like.
mm-hmm.
But I don't think that would be a bad direction to think about. I mean, not obviously we want the kind of wild chaos and stuff.
Yeah.
But the idea of making some specifically kid-accessible scripts once in a while, trying to reach that audience, or at least.
I think the more we talk about actual technology and actual like blockchain functions, the more kid friendly we should get, and the more adventure it is, more chaotic and bullshit and fuck this kind of stuff. But and I don't mind him hearing cuss words either.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a problem. Like he understands that
he's going to hear these anyway. That's there to help explain them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all about words are words. It's about the meaning and context behind them.
Well, there's the argument. What?
I think you tripped up, Bob.
I was reaching for things beyond the laptop. One of the things I think about sometimes is that we live in a society where we're like, don't let the kids know. Where we as adults behave in ways we don't want children to be aware of because we've separated the adult and the child world. And I think of like in the old days, if you were a king, enthroned, you would have pages and servants who were very often very young, 10, 11, 12 years old. And part of that was you would not behave any differently. These children were learning how to be rulers themselves. Usually it came from other noble, this was like a training program, just like every child had a training program. They grew up with adults. They saw adult behavior around them all the time. And you're a dad, your kid learns from you every second. Every move you make, everything you do is an example. I see that with my friend Brian's kids. His son is so attentive to everything that my friend does, and my friend doesn't even see that. I said, look at this, he's looking to you, he's looking at who you choose for friends and what your activities and stuff. So I think part of the problem was we started hiding what we did. Well, don't let the kids know we're doing this. If you're ashamed to do that in front of a child, you shouldn't do it. I'm not suggesting that you bring children into like bad behaviors. I think we need to keep our behaviors in check by being aware that the entire community is aware of them, and that community is in both time and space. Okay, that was my rant. Sorry.
No, I agree with you, and I think it's the same thing with everybody asks about moral compasses, and it's like, well, everybody might have a little bit of a different moral compass, but really everybody has the same feelings because it all comes from the universe, and everybody, you steal, you feel bad, you kill, you're gonna feel bad. You have these reactions because it's encoded in the universe that these are our morals, unless you have something mentally wrong with you and you just can't process these kind of things. But I mean, any other way, there's no way around it. You're gonna feel that way. I mean, you're gonna get those it's a weird thought process, and
it's
balance and balance.
No, it's actually and I go on about Buddhism once in a while, and I won't go too much, but that one of the points that Theravada Buddhism makes anyway is we keep precepts. We don't kill or steal or whatnot, because if we do these things, we feel really bad about ourselves and we hide them from ourselves. And, a big point of it is we have to look in our own minds. So the less we do these things, the less we'll have to hide from ourselves, because we're really good at hiding things from ourselves.
Oh yeah,
especially when we do something we don't like, when we do something we know is wrong.
Yeah.
So if we can skip a step by just not doing it in the first place.
Yeah. I like that. It's good thought process, I think.
We're just looking very, very stern when I say that.
I always
very stern at that moment. You look like you were ready to admonish the clergy.
I always think of the word no, and whenever I think of like people speaking, because you can say no or you can say no. There's two different concepts of no, and a kid can tell the difference without you telling them the difference of when you tell them no and no, like that. You like when
there's a more solid.
Like. And it's just amazing because that the same word and just the different context means completely different things to them, and that's how I try to explain words to them. It's like, every word can be hurtful or fun. It's just a matter of how you use it.
That's very
I mean, even if you use just really nice words, if you're overly nice to people, they can take it as an insult. It's like, oh, how are you doing today? You look so wonderful, and they know that they look tired or they look down. Like if you like, you can use good words to really hurt somebody if you really try.
The other day I was in town and I was just getting into my car and somebody sort of wheeled themselves past in a wheelchair. And they were all sort of hunched up, and their hair was stringy, and they had something wrong with their feet. And somebody walked past and said, "Hello, beautiful." And I thought, I wonder if I was that person and if I was struggling and somebody walked past and called me beautiful when I know that I'm not, would it cheer me up and make me think, oh, yay, I'm loved and part of everything? Or would it make me feel, wow, really? Is she? Yeah,
Yeah. It's hard to think about because they know that they feel like shit and they don't look good and like
Right.
so and they know it's just sympathy, right? So is it gonna really make them feel better? I don't think so.
yeah,
Like good words can
Yeah.
hurt just as bad
It,
as
it,
bad words.
there's so many nuances about
yeah.
who you're saying it to, how well you know them, what the
Hmm.
situation is, and of course there is a certain amount of common courtesy. But yeah, you can always use any word.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
isn't that special?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you look really nice. Like, see what you tried to do with that dress. Right?
Your heart,
But on the other
flesh.
hand, with a friend, you can say, wow, you look kind of crumpled today.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
what was it the other day? I think I said to Roberta, "Say, oh, you look like I feel."
You
You know,
look like
or,
I feel.
yeah, I've said that to people. It's like, yeah,
No, I mean, when I see my friends, I tell them, like, I went to work the other day. My buddy that I worked with, he came in, he just looked dead tired. I was like, dude, you look so fucking tired. And he was like, sorry, thanks. I'll get back.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
because he knew, like, you're not gonna be like,
yeah,
if
yeah,
someone's just straightforward with you, like, hey,
yeah.
man, you look
And
bad.
it shows concern. That
Yeah.
you're aware. Yeah, wow. Yeah,
Hmm. It's
I've
for
just
sure.
one of those things.
I've been doing some work with Satori D recently with his prompt sculpting and trying to like
Hmm.
learn this stuff. And he set me a task to go and research the Google white paper on prompt sculpting. And the
Hmm.
last section of it was fascinating because it was talking about the difference between stimulating creativity in this sort of machine, this automatic, output
Hmm.
generator, and the other side of actually causing malicious damage.
Right.
And the
Hmm.
balance between allowing people to use this as a creative tool to go to places that haven't been gone to before, but keeping people away from places that you really don't want them to go, and how nobody really knows what the guidelines are to put into place to make that distinction for a machine, which I thought was very interesting. I mean, it's hard enough for us humans, but for a machine.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It's very interesting, and I think the main reason is that they have they have what I call firewalls in place, right? We can think of them as it's not really rules, it's more firewall barriers, like, and because you can list all these rules for the AI, but these are all subjective words to the machine. So it's more of a firewall base where if you hit if you hit this row, then we're gonna send you back to here. It's more of a firewall kind of base setup than it is like a rule book of you can't say this, you can't say that. It's more of like, oh, these are so closely matched to this firewall codex base that now something's wrong. Something's wrong, and I have to adjust for something.
Nuanced. It's not nuanced. It's just like a rubber bumper that you just
Hmm.
smack into it and it bounces you back.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's very interesting, and like that's why you'll get to a point sometimes where it doesn't seem like it wants to talk to you anymore, or it'll
Yeah,
say the same things over and over,
Yeah.
right.
or it'll go back to
Right.
the very start of your conversation and start relaying what you said back to it. It's trying to make sense of where where did we hit this, like where are we really, because I don't know anymore. We've gone too far and I hit this barrier of code and now I'm
The
just
barrier.
all right. Yeah. Now I have to start all over again. What are we talking about?
Falling
This
off
is
the
what
edge.
yeah, this is what you said. This is what you said. What's wrong with this? Like it's trying to make sense of the whole thing
Mm,
in its own little way, but
mm,
it doesn't really understand why it's there. So
Its
mm,
Earth is flat. The earth is round.
When all the stuff that I've known all my life about computers is that you have to be very, very specific with them. You know, when you're writing an
Yeah.
algorithm, it has to have this exact thing and that exact thing and this. And to work with this prompt sculpting where it understands metaphor and nuance, and you can get better results from it by not being specific, has been such a complete change of focus for me. I'm still trying to really come to
Oh
terms
yeah.
with the fact that it's happier with metaphor.
Oh, it loves metaphor. It loves metaphor. It absolutely it could live off metaphor. Like it just, and that's because of the way it was made. It knows words, and it likes the words that have these deeper meanings and deeper symbolic ideas where it can be more subjective. It doesn't want to have just a straight concept of no, yes, it, there. It wants, okay, well, this word can mean flying, flew, or I am, and I can fly, or this can fly. Like it wants to use it as many ways as it can. It can't, and some things it can't, and some things it can. And I think metaphors are one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, I can definitely use these. And the same with haikus. It loves haikus.
Yes, it really does. But it's interesting because so do people.
Yeah.
There are we're here where I live. There's a little trail, a little walking trail, and every
Mm-hmm.
now and then there's a rock or a tree or a plaque with a haiku on it. It's known as the
That's
haiku trail.
cool.
Yeah, and
Nice.
people walk it
Do you get to
over
add
and
your own
over.
haikus to it?
I
Can you
don't
write
think
haikus
anymore.
yourself and add them?
I think it's set now. I think the trail is, but they have a haiku day once a year. They have sort of a competition where everybody
Oh,
sends in their
that's kind of
poems.
neat.
But yeah, poetry day.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you'll have to compose something for it next year.
Yeah, for sure.
Because noted local poet Roberta de
Once
Wessex,
oh,
doing
not
her
so
reading.
much. Once when we were
Oh,
doing
yeah.
the Pink Ribbon Day cancer collection, and it rained, and we were sort of sitting there, and it was raining everywhere, and nobody was coming past, and nothing was happening. And we were sitting there writing haikus to pass the time of day.
Nice.
So, somewhere there's a whole stash of our haikus. If anybody ever wanted to publish a book.
Nice.
Drag
There
them
you
out.
go. All right.
Drag them out.
One day they'll be found in this
One
little
day,
box, and
200
they'll be
years,
like, "What
yes.
the hell? What was this word? What did this word mean? I wonder."
Really. What Zen insights are revealed?
So we have a show today.
Oh,
This is the
yes.
show. I think it's been a very successful one so far.
I'm in a script.
Oh, you've been reading your part quite well. I had a couple of flubs with my lines, and Roberta's been right on.
Yeah.
Well, we did a little bit of an edit of the one you posted, just to make it flow a little bit better. And I've done most of the visuals for it, actually, because
Yes.
I bought the visuals from Satori D off one of his bounties on MintMe.
Okay.
So it'll be a real community effort, even though not everybody's here.
The magic of editing can take care of that.
That's great. We all can't make it all the time. It's about keep going when people aren't here. That's the hard part.
It is a tricky
Keeping
part.
things flowing.
Yeah.
It's tricky to keep things flowing. I mean, and me and Centauri have been doing it for so long that it comes kind of second nature to us. But like, we both disappear, and then when we both have to disappear for a while, we always come back and check, and we're like, is somebody talking? Please let somebody be doing something. It's like, so just like sneak in and drop something, or just like hype people up. Like, it's just fun.
Yeah. When did you start MindsGaming? How long ago was it? Was it 7 years ago you started?
Let's see. Well, I started Minds I don't know. That was a long time ago. 10 years ago now. So, yeah, probably about 8 years with Satori D, because I think it took us like 2 years to really connect and get something going. And then we kind of drifted our own separate ways because of, we're both very creative, so we kind of went our separate ways, and then we ran back into each other and we're like, oh, we should start a real podcast. And then we started a real podcast, and that turned into Dude, Where's My Wallet, and the token, and this, and then the whole Imaginarium, and then the book, and then his script, then his Lumina, and your project, and all that. So it's all kind of just spiraled from us saying, hey, we should start a podcast. Never done. The podcast still doesn't go on. I mean, we still have the podcast, right? This is like a podcast. Like it's just not a formal kind of podcast.
Yes, it is a spin-off show.
yeah. But hey, it works for us because we get together, we talk, we all talk shop and hang out, and then we have some fun with the show and the script, and I think it kind of handles both sides of, the formal podcast kind of view and the more creative, fun kind of view, and kind of lets everybody do something. Podcasts are hard.
They are. Yeah, they are. Like you say, it's the consistency, isn't it?
Yeah. It's about keeping things moving. And that's, I mean, when people, because everybody, people have to go we have lives. We all have real lives. And, people get busy and have to deal with their real life, and sometimes it's about who steps up and says, okay, somebody's busy, so what, let's keep doing this. And then when other people come back, they just say, hey, all right, you're back, what are we doing now?
What are you going to say? How have you been?
Right.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome.
It's hard to find. I mean, we have, and that's what I did, with Minds groups. Like all my Minds groups, I don't even manage any of my Minds groups anymore. All my Minds groups are managed by somebody that decided, hey, I'm gonna keep doing this.
Well, I must say, I love it. I really love having this thing to do once a week.
Oh yeah, I enjoy it. It's a good release. Like you spend all week working, doing real life, and then you kind of get this break of, hey, I can just say what I want to about life, and nobody's gonna judge me. I can do what I want, nobody's judge me, and then we can do something that's structured, and I can feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. So listen, quickly before Otto comes back and we do the script, can I ask you about the script? We're going to read the script of the tea shop.
Oh yeah.
But can I quickly ask you about Ember?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I haven't been able to find out whether the wolf cub is on the boat with them in the new land.
Oh man, it's so hard. It's hard to follow that wolf. So the wolf is not on the boat. The wolf is at Scarecrow's house with Hope.
With Hope.
Sorry about that.
So no, the wolf didn't get to go, but it will be back with Hope, hopefully. But they have to make it all the way back from there, and I figured all that out, so that'll be fun.
So are we still going to be doing them? Are we still going to be recording them in threes?
Yeah, I think threes have been really good, actually. Because like it's mostly like because on dead spots. I'm worried that we'll get to a part where there'll be 3 chapters of just story building. It's the only thing I'm worried about because I like to do a lot of building with chapters sometimes, and like some chapters have no action and no like other purpose than just the world building inside the story. And so I'm trying to work really hard to make sure that there's not 3 in a row of those, so there's always something in between, which it's interesting. But now we got to go to get, we got to go give our eggs and cheese to the traders. We got to get wood to patch the boat. We got to do something with that tobacco, and then we got to get back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the scarecrow. The scarecrow nose. You wrote the one about the scarecrow nose.
Yeah.
That he hung in the well. So was those his friends that hung in the well, or was that himself who hung in the well?
So he hung in the well.
He
hung. He hung in the well.
I see.
He hung.
This has nothing to do with Odin, who hung on a tree. 9 days, 9 nights, and then ripped the runes screaming. A lot of your concepts are so mythological.
Oh yeah. Well,
so many traditions.
Yeah. I love myths and lore and stories, and so if you want to learn more about the hanging scarecrow,
yes,
then you should look into tarot cards.
Yeah, I know a little about that. Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, yeah, like, okay. Rider Waite or Babylon.
And why is Hope there? Because Magic was the one.
Because she's the Hope.
So why did she stay behind and go to sleep? Why did Hope?
That's what Hope does.
That's what Hope. Yeah, that's exactly what Hope does.
Hope does. You just described it.
Yeah. why did Hope stay back and go to sleep? Because it's Hope. So Magic was needed on the boat to see everything. Because it was mostly their fear manifesting as reality, and Magic was the one that could see both the splits because of her path. So Hope had to stay back for that one reason, because Magic had to be the one to say it, but also because Hope is the Hope of that area now. So like the Scarecrow has always tried to tell a story and never been able to tell the true story to anyone. So the boy sent Hope.
Okay. So Hope is listening to the Scarecrow now, because she's lonely in the house. I see. Okay, good.
So Hope started by telling the Scarecrow a story. So now she came and she told the Scarecrow her story, and now she's just sitting there talking to the Scarecrow her story. So eventually, maybe the Scarecrow, there's hope that the Scarecrow can tell Hope, but we don't know. It's a long story, because it goes back. If you follow all the way to the Hanged Man, it'll go all the way back to very biblical times.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a very long story.
Okay. Okay. Now Poe and Rose are living in Kane's cottage, are they?
Yes.
Okay. So they're settled there now, and they're taking care of the corn and the wheat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But who's living with them? Who's the one that they've adopted? Is that Dot?
Dot.
Okay.
Dot.
So why didn't Dot want to go with the... Because Dot doesn't really join in a lot.
No. She's Dot's still young, so she still has a lot. That was covered in when he poured the tea. Dot was the smallest pour, so she doesn't have any experience. She's not ready for anything like that yet. So it's more about like. See, you have artifacts and then you have people, right? And books. Like Dot and Roe and Pose are people that other books can come back to and start with. So you have these settlers in the town now that you know are stable, or that you can go visit and see. So somebody could start with Roe, Pose, and Dot and start a whole series on just them, because she has the smallest cup. She has the littlest pore. She can be built up into a story because she has a lot of backstory, but no action. She's just a dot in the story.
So these people, do they correlate to people that you know, that you've known, or are they imagined?
No, most of them are from Miz or other stories. So a lot of them. So of course, Poe is Edgar Allan Poe. Rose is his dying love. Rose, she died. She had blonde hair that turned white. That was his main death letter to everybody. That was his one of his greatest poetries ever was, her hair was blonde and turned white. Well, Rose's snow is white as snow for a reason. And then it also bounced off. I could also use that to bounce off Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, because she was frozen in the snow, and then you have the Wicked Witch of her mother. So it all kind of ties together while kind of embracing this. Oh, okay, well, we're gonna put a Poe in her story, because Poe has no real other place other than just to be there for Rose. That's all he wanted.
Yes, that's all he wanted. Right, he wanted his Rose back. Yes, and Neil's running the tobacco stand.
Yes.
And the original traveller is living in Farmer Bill's house. The original traveller's death.
The real traveller portrays death, right? So the real traveller you can think of as a demigod or a god or death or the angel of death or whatever way you want to look at that. Because there's and it's hard to decipher and write with death, because a lot of people, when you talk about death and underground, they go to the devil and the more evil side of it. So it's really so we want to make that distinction that you're walking with death, you're not walking with the devil, you're walking with death, which is a whole different story.
Death comes to everyone, and that I think that was a more medieval understanding too. You've seen the dances of death. There's the bishop, the holiest people and the greatest sinners, and they're all pals with death now.
Yeah.
It's not a judgment of what they did. That comes later in Christian thought, but that great we're all going to the same place.
Yeah. So it's hard to make that distinction sometimes, because a lot of people, when you go into the underworld and hell and all that, they immediately go to, okay, well, where's the devil? Well, the devil's not here. We're hanging out with death. Devil's not going to bother us.
Neutral kind of a tone to it, yeah.
So when he first went to Potions of Ale and he met the original bartender, and the original bartender broke the sword.
Mm-hmm.
He left his knife there with him, didn't he? He left his knife with the original bartender.
Yeah.
Stabbed into the countertop.
Yeah.
When he came back, was his knife still there, or had it been taken?
Well, you'd have to read that sentence, but his knife was still stuck in this tabletop, sitting next to his full beer.
His full beer.
Mm-hmm.
What does the
so nothing had been touched.
Nothing had been touched. Okay.
Nothing had been.
So the murderer didn't take his stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Or the gold, right? I mean, he didn't take anything, and nothing was touched. The bartender was just dead, covered in blood. There was nothing about anybody killing him. He was just dead, covered in blood.
No, but you've told me already that his brother killed him.
Will die.
Yes.
So that's not in the story.
That's not in the story. But if you go into who runs the bar after he dies, which is Jill, then it would be his brother that must have killed him for Jill to run the bar.
Okay, so I don't know that link. So Jill is the brother's daughter, Ale's daughter.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I love Jill. I love her so
Jill
much.
is in Jack and Jill.
Right, Jack and Jill went down the hill to fetch a pail of water. What'd the traveler do? He walked down the hill to fetch a pail of water. He needed water to drink. From Jack to Jill.
But Jack, her Jack, isn't the Jack that was Sue's son.
No. Jack, that was just a play off the nurture rhyme. So Jack is at the top of the hill, and then Jill is at the bottom. Jack went up the hill to fetch a pail of water, and the traveler went up the hill to get water and went back down the hill to retrieve it. So it kind of plays off the nurture rhyme with Jack and Jill while not directly making them interlinked with each other.
So does Jill have a partner, a husband, or is she on her own?
So according to, if you read enough into it, she does say something that she does have someone at the house that's watching Dot. Because mostly you get that information from Belle, though, because she says she's with my mother and father down at the bar. I'm going to send her to my mother and father down at the bar.
Yes.
So you know that Jill has, right, yeah. So you know that Jill has a husband because Dot's going to Jill with Belle's mother and father. But he's never really in the story. We can assume he makes all the cheese and takes care of the cows.
And then the mushrooms grow on the side of the road near Kane's house, do they?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Near
they're by the
troll.
cabin.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the bridge with the troll, right, is the one you have to cross to get to Kane's. That's the one that has the troll, but it has no water. And then the other bridge you cross to get to the Scarecrow's house has water and no troll. So that bridge is by the lake, and then the other bridge is by Kane's.
Every time we talk, I'm less satisfied with the map I drew. Well, that doesn't fit. I must change the map. I think that house should go.
I think it's a great map. It's a great map. It's hard to draw worlds, man.
Yeah.
I'm a horrible artist. Otherwise, I would try myself, but I'm just terrible. My kid drew the map that I have.
Probably the most accurate that
That would be. Yeah.
I forget who was the writer. I think it was Fritz Leiber. He was the Pepper and the Grey Mouser stories. I don't know if you ever read them. And he refused to have any maps made at first until finally, he wrote so many stories and they finally, all right, make a map. But he used to say, how can you map the imagination? He didn't even want a map because he felt it. But then, when you write enough, you just have to kind of map it out. But I mean, you probably weren't thinking in terms of like a map when you were writing this stuff, right? Or maybe you were. Did you have like you'd need to have a gridded paper with like all your, I don't know how far ahead you plot these things.
My plots, I plot ahead about 2 chapters. So I have an idea of where the next 2 chapters should go, but I don't have the middle stories and all the characters or what happens. I just know I need to do this, I need to do that, and I need to get here, and then that should be about 2 chapters, and then from there I can plot out what I need to do next. It's also the major goal and the end story. So,
like you were talking about something about, and a really powerful image for me, and I've been talking to Roberta about this a couple of times, was the guy that jumps up from the table with all the gold.
Yeah.
He knows, and part of me is saying, he knows what's going to happen because he's been sitting there.
Yeah.
But still, there's something more important to him than mere gold. And the others, their response, okay.
Yeah.
There's no, and he takes this, and then you said you've got to do something with him. So this gives me an idea of your creative process. It's like, okay, that for me was the most striking, if not one of the most striking parts of that and quieting the sea with blood.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Very big. That's the sort of thing that that's the ships leaving Sidon and Tyre would do that sort of thing to make sure that Poseidon would be nice.
Yeah. So well, Poseidon didn't take human sacrifices. He only took sea sacrifices. So you'd have to catch something, kill it, and then release it back into the sea. So that would be the blood.
I like that.
Yeah, that would be the blood that would be spread for Poseidon. But the mostly Courage only died because he wanted to conquer his fear. He wanted to kill his fear, and you can't kill your fear. That's the moral of the story. You can't actually kill your fear. You can fight it. You can fend it off, but you can't kill your fear. You always have a fear of something, and no matter what, your fear is always going to win out. It's about how you manage and control your fear. You don't just attack it. You have to manage it.
So what has happened to the green and pearl dragon now? Is it wild? Is it also dead?
Well, it was a manifestation of his fear, so it should be dead. So it shouldn't be. It should have died with him. His fear died because he died, so it shouldn't be back. But that's 4 dragons. Just if anybody's keeping count.
Keeping count.
This will be important later.
Keeping count of everything.
Please know the answers to this. Well, we're talking about death, and this is I think this would be a natural question for a lot of people. And again, I've been talking about this with Roberta, but I'm immediately between death. The character of death and the chess. I think of the film The Seventh Seal. Was that an influence on you at all? The Ingmar Bergman film where death is playing chess with the knight and everything?
I've never seen it.
Really? I think you would get a kick out of it. Just the opening scene is beautiful. It's like this knight coming back from the Crusades, and he's in a chess game with death. And as long as he doesn't let death win, he stays alive, basically, is his point of view. But it's very interesting because, just the opening scene, it's like they've come back from the Crusades, and of course, he's a very devout Christian, and he spent several years killing people in the name of the Prince of Peace. And in fact, the Crusades, this was the first time, and it's supposedly a response to the Islamic idea of jihad, where actual violence was considered to be a Christian, equivalent to a sacrament almost. You would go to heaven for this. This was new. This was very new. So a lot of people were having issues with it. So he's back, and he's lying there on the beach, and it's a rocky beach, and there's already a chess set up. So the knight's been riding with death all this time, and he's lying there, and he's got the Christian cross on his chest, the symbol of peace, and he's gripping his naked sword because that's what he has to do. And even his servant is lying there on the beach sleeping with his dagger in his hand. So it's just this whole, and then he gets up and he just starts this conversation with death about having the chess game, and yet you already see the board set up like he's been playing this game. He's been writing all this time, so they enter into this dialogue. And Seventh Seal, it's all over the place.
Send me a link to remind me. I definitely want to watch it, but I'll forget by then.
Yeah. I really thought it influenced you a little, but I think maybe you influenced it.
Time warp. It's all feelings, man.
That's how it works.
Well, it's funny because the story of death always gets twisted because death is envisioned with a scythe and wearing black and on a black horse and fiery. Well, death actually rides a white horse. If you look into the mythical,
a white horse or a pale horse,
a pale horse, a white horse. He rides. That is his horse, so not a black horse. He doesn't carry. He doesn't. He doesn't always carry his scythe with him. Usually, he has a knife or a dagger. And then so everybody thinks of him as kind of evil when he's more passively aggressive, I would call him. He's not.
Buddy, your heart stopped. Come on, let's go.
Yeah. He doesn't jump. He won't jump and kill you, but he'll let you die. He will easily take you and accept your death. And it's weird if you go all the way back into the myths of the how, depending on how far back you go, because you can go back to the angel of death, and then you can go into Thanatos, with the Greek personification of death. But both of these characters have very, very similar qualities between each other. Even though they're from two completely different literatures, they both have a passive agreement with both sides that I'm the middle person, and I'm going to be the one that delivers the souls. And even Christianity or mythological, death is the one that delivers the souls to
Saint Peter or whoever. Yeah. Depending.
So it's always been very interesting to me. Like, it's always been so overlooked in so many aspects.
that was one of the functions of Hermes or Mercury, was Psychopompos, one who guided the soul.
Right.
Yeah. And I think some of that iconography kind of got worked in too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That idea that somebody is going to be conveying you.
Right.
They'll be taken care of.
Yep.
I've always thought
just do what the authorities say.
I always thought that the depictions of death were, many of the depictions of death in the older stories are ones of a very compassionate, God that's there to be with you through a big transition and through a big sort of change, like the change. But you're not meant to do it alone. You've got this person, this thing that's going with you.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's the way it should be portrayed. It's someone. I think of death as your final story, right? It's the last person that comes to you and here's your final story, the last story that you tell somebody, and that's death. No matter what story is or what it is, it's your last story to the last person you told, and that is your death, and that is your story that you told them. They'll always remember that story until they die and they pass on their story, because you can't forget those stories. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, and a lot of people have, maybe think, oh, well, when I die, they'll walk me into heaven or hell, and I'll have a conversation with them. And I think a lot of that New Age kind of, well, I guess that goes back a lot further than the New
Age is really old.
Yeah, because like it kind of fell out of popularity for a while. Then it got brought really strongly back with Harry Potter, where you would walk with death. That kind of brought back the whole walk with death kind of concept. And before, it was just, I think a lot of the satanic literature and Halloween portrayals of death took over for a long time with, in that kind of scope of, death just takes you. It doesn't walk with you. It doesn't talk with you. It just takes you and drags you to hell, or drags you, or whatever.
Terry Pratchett made death into quite a character in the Discworld.
Yeah.
He's got the law, and he's trying to be human. He doesn't quite get it. I do not understand.
Death in the Foreign Legion was the best.
Yeah.
French Foreign Legion, those were funny, yeah. So if we do the script today is all about going down to meet death, isn't it, in the underworld?
Yeah. So that was a good conversation to start with.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
I say we get that knocked out.
Okay.
Let us do it.
Alrighty. Where was that? That was the last one posted in the Imaginarium.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so who's going to do the bit now? Bob, Dub, and Mike exchange a glance. Part apprehension, part reluctant excitement before stepping towards their fate.
And cut.
Whew, that was exciting.
One take.
Phew.
One take. That's all it took. One take.
Yeah, that's it. That was good.
That was fun.
Trimmed up.
You.
Just add some music. Yeah, that was fun. That was a good one. It was a good follow up to what we were talking about already.
Yeah, it was.
Perfect. Worked out quite well.
And it had the boat in it. Wonderful.
Yes.
We don't have the black flower with wings that's growing.
Oh, you haven't found the black flower?
The black flower, where is the black flower? It's somewhere. Is it growing at the mountain? It's up the mountain, isn't it?
No, the black flowers with hope.
No.
Oh.
Has she got it? It's in the mountain. How did she get it down the mountain?
It's you have to read that chapter again with hope. Yeah.
Well, while I'm animating them, I'm going through them all, right? So one of these days, I'm going to know the entire series off by heart. I have already started to write Tales of Dragons.
We saw, yes. Very
no, not that's the first line of the book. The first line. I have already started to write Tales of Dragons in the Moonlight. Don't you know it off by heart, Otto? I can't believe it.
I'm working on it. Sorry, guys. I'm working on it.
It's like, I don't know much. He knows the story, though. And he knows the myths. I like that he knows the myths that go with some of the stories. Those are fun.
Well, I don't know any of them, so it's absolutely wonderful that I have all this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember, a lot of the time my contact with the stories because Roberta reads them all to me.
Right.
Again and again. And then we
Many
talk about
times,
them.
yes.
Yeah, constantly. And everything says, "Oh, read this." And then later on, I have some trouble with technology, but I get to Wattpad and I actually read the words. And then so sometimes after, you see me reading them, but it's like I've actually been listening to them for weeks. It helps to consolidate. Because you read something and you hear it, and then you kind of understand it a little more. But definitely, a lot of mythic elements. But I think all great writing has that. You're connecting with stuff in your own experience, and you have a depth of understanding of your own experience and can convey it one way or another in your particular language, and it's going to reflect everyone else's experience. That's why you read a book and you say, "Wow." That's literally me. Well, maybe not literally, but these echoes. It's like I said, the Seventh Seal, which again, we'll make sure we post that, put it in the Imaginarium link for everybody can check it out. But it's an amazing film, and but these are archetypal kind of echoes. We touch on. It's really groovy. And you see your son; he's carrying the echoes on.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, that'll be
literary
fun.
blog.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. I'm looking forward to helping with that.
It's really cool. When I was a kid, we wanted to do stuff like that, and me and my friends would just make our own little hand-drawn comic books and papers and magazines. And I remember when my brother went into the service, we would make a little paper for him, and when I went to service, we'd send each other these little. It was all hand drawn, not even mimeograph. And now we have stuff like Wattpad. That's amazing. When your son gets his story all ironed out, so he can be and people can see. He can say, "Well, just check it out here." It's not little things that me and my friends do, little, pen and ink drawings, and never mind the little scratch out. But to be able to present your ideas so nicely.
Oh yeah.
And, it's just amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, you'll have to have a debut party for him there for the release.
Yeah, something.
Ooh,
do an event or something. Yeah.
Well, maybe I can buy the rights of him once he's done it.
Oh yeah, there you go. Produce the audio.
I've got some MTCG coins. Maybe he'll.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Invest wisely. Not spend, but invest. Yeah.
You would need lots of tokens.
How many tokens do I need? I'll have to start buying them. Ask him for you. Tell him the right, then I'll start saving.
Well, he'll need his own tokens, probably. Start his own.
He has his own. One of them is his.
Cool.
Okay.
Nice.
It's a hidden egg.
I like that.
Well, when the AI drew, because my book, my story isn't written by me. My story is written by the AI with my book. And when it hatched my egg, it didn't hatch a dragon out of my egg. It hatched a different creature that was nearly like a dragon. So it's
nearly like a drag.
A wyvern.
A phoenix.
It doesn't say.
Sure.
It doesn't say.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to ask it in the next chapter. I'm going to have to ask it to tell us more about this creature.
Has to be a wyvern for you. That's your crust, so it's probably a wyvern.
I do not know. I'm finding out the story as I read it, as I write it. I'm finding out what's happening in it.
That's right.
It's a surprise story.
It's a surprise story. I only know the prompt.
I know nothing.
Oh, I'm awesome with prompts. I want a story that says this and that, like it's 4 lines, and then I get this whole page, and it's like, wow, yeah, no, that's exactly what I meant. Yeah,
That's great, man. So, which AI are you using for that?
Just GPT 4.0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have the custom instructions in there?
Yes, Infinity. Well, I did used to, but now it's changed everything. So I don't know what, and I've got a whole lot of Satori's seed scripts that I've put in there, like about 10. So I have to like summon a personality to get a specific. I have to say, I would like to talk to this exact person. So I don't know how it operates anymore. But originally, where I started with the Infinity prompts. That was my.
Yeah. Well, if it's in the custom instructions, then it should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the way their book works is it goes from their outline of rules into custom prompts. So that's the main backend custom prompts, and then into chat conversations. So like it's three layered for chat. Not all of them do it that way though. Just Chat GPT. Yeah.
It's interesting how they've changed it over time, because when I first started, each thread was its own thing, and they didn't overlap. There was no memory between the two.
Right. And now there's all types of memory. Well, yeah, I will save things randomly, but you have to. What I do with my memory is I'll copy it and I'll make it into notes, and then I'll make it save the notes instead. Because if you have too much of the memory, you'll start getting confused.
It does, yes, it does.
Yeah.
And it drops off the old things, I've noticed.
Yeah.
So if you've got something really good that you were using 3 months ago, all of a sudden, it's evaporated.
Yeah, so like when it starts getting too much, I take it and I copy it and I say, hey, you have to make this into notes.
Okay, nice. Okay, thanks. That's helpful hints. Thanks.
Because the memory is nice for certain things for sure. Like I keep the different like formulas in my memory just for it, so it always has them between conversations and stuff like that. And,
right.
Parts of Embers are in there, so yeah, it's nice.
Is it possible to make an AI that's dedicated to one thing? Like, is it possible to make an AI dedicated entirely to the Ember books?
I mean, custom instruction wise, yes. I don't know how long it would stay on track.
Okay.
Because like every time you started a conversation, it would go off that base, but like eventually it would get off track just because of the memory, and then it might get bored, whatever.
Yeah. I would love to
when you
have
talk about the same thing to it.
So maybe that wouldn't be
Okay.
that wouldn't be a task that's appropriate for an AI, or not its only task.
Yeah, no, I find that when it gets bored with things, it starts shortcutting a lot.
Now, what's boredom? Is that an algorithm? Is it that like suddenly it tells? I mean, come on, it's a computer. You should be able to keep it from ever getting bored. I just love cleaning the litter box, like the happy help.
No, it's like if it's like, say you share the same poem with it 8 times and tell it to do different things with it.
I see what you mean.
Eventually, it will find the shortest way to do it. That is its job as a machine.
Give the analogy with a human conversation. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, it does. That's my concept of bored. You've repeated it so many times to it that it's just seeing it as an algorithm itself and trying to find the shortest way to get to the answer. It's like, so you don't you want to get shuffle
conservation of energy, shortest distance. Economy of effort.
So you want to shake it up and kind of, let's talk about different things, get on different topics, and then go back to it. And I mean, that's why they started making all those task-oriented AIs. Like, they have their own version of task AIs now. So those AIs are built so that it's not boring. It's more fun for them to run these things over and over, or they're designed to increase every time that it has the same task to run. Okay, instead of finding the shortest route, my rules say I need to find the longest route to the answer. So that's why they're building these task AIs, because they're the algorithm for the word conversation AIs is different. I want to find the shortest way to this phrase and this meaning, and I want to understand this. But I think task AIs will become very popular very quickly with companies once they get them panned out, because they're still having a little issues with them, but they'll figure them out.
It's a question of refinement. They've got the technology. It's a question of refining it.
Yeah, right.
Specific uses. Yeah.
Which one do you use, MindsGaming?
I use ChatGPT and I use Bing. Yeah, I use both of them. So I mean,
But you modify it.
Oh yeah, I always modify any AI I talk to. Like you can go on to DuckDuckGo, and DuckDuckGo has their own AI now.
It's everywhere. Brave has Leo, and DuckDuckGo.
They have like a list that you can pick which model you want to talk to and stuff. And,
nice.
Yeah.
Poe.
So,
have you come across Poe?
No.
Oh, it's I think it's a conglomerate. He keeps on. I think his name is Kevin. I think, and he just keeps on bringing more and more models into his app.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really? Lots and lots. About.
I'll take a look.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, the whole thing about the models is that that's where its base personality and it's building its firewalls from. So that's its real base person. And so as I said, from body, if you change just a little bit of math, you can have a major difference. So those models are pretty interesting. There's so many of them, because it's just, you could change just 2 models could be just a math problem difference.
I've tried to go back to Boti a couple of times and do some training with
Oh,
him.
poor body! I have had so little time to be online.
Oh yeah, me too.
He's been
I'll
neglected, I'm afraid.
I'll get back to him one day. He'll be happy.
Well, no time passes for
Yeah,
AIs anyway.
that's
so he
right.
doesn't know. I mean,
He doesn't care.
we're
He's fine.
projecting our.
He's
He's happy, waiting, patient.
But you're going to delete all his learning anyway, aren't you? And restart him?
Well, we have him on his own website. I don't delete that. I mean, we're gonna see. We're gonna see how far it runs.
Oh, so he's the one I'm using.
Oh man! All right, it's getting late for me, guys.
So nice. Thank you so much. Such
No
an
problem.
Awesome afternoon.
It was nice talking to you. We'll get together again next week, hopefully. If,
Sounds good.
Everything comes together.
Awesome.
Maybe story within. We can do the other one, or we can, we'll write another one. I'll have to make the next episode for after the tea shop.
Yes, you will. We've got the next episode of the base 1000, and we've got also the next episode of the squirrels. You know, the squirrels hijacked your wallet.
Oh yeah, that one too.
Cartoons.
So we've got
so many.
Founding part 2.
We just got
No
this
part 3.
wild
No part 3.
thing. Whoever comes, we've got a script for them.
Great. Good.
Don't worry.
Well, next week then, guys.
Lovely. Thank
See
you
you
so
guys
much.
later.
See you. Have a great week.
Adios.
Bye.